Well, that was a chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm gonna start this off early, but Yuta kind of sold. Now, I do think he pulled through at the end, and it's probably gonna play into something pretty insane in the next chapter. But bro really face-planted in Gojo's body, not only disrespecting our king, but the very fanbase itself. Like, how is anybody supposed to defend this? Start making those fries, Yuta, because your day job is in jeopardy, and you should probably start working out that side hustle if sorcery doesn't work. Sukuna's anti-cheat just got the best of you, but don't worry. Itadori has the patch notes, and if anything, that was the turning point in this mess, so let's get into it. The chapter begins with Unlimited Void's domain barrier getting shattered, but simultaneously, Sukuna takes insane damage. His skin is all torn up, his hands are missing, which was a previous thing he was dealing with before, and he just lands outside of the barrier. So essentially, the result of that domain clash was an equivalent exchange. Both barriers were dismantled, and Malevolent Shrine collapses as well. Sukuna is remarking in satisfaction and delight, impressed with what Yuta was able to accomplish in such a short amount of time. Saying that Yuta is out of his comfort zone is an understatement, and even though he's not used to Gojo's abilities in the slightest, he still pulled off a hollow purple and it actually connected. But Sukuna is still smirking, grinning, and reveling, like he's convinced that he's got this in the bag, and I don't blame him for having this level of confidence. But the battle isn't on pause, it just keeps on going. So immediately, Todo and Yuji bounce into action, ready to go, with Todo asking Yuta to be ready to spam as many hollow purples as he can once he recovers. So that basically means that Jump Kaisen, it's back. No more solo Sukuna battles, we're taking it to the streets with this one. Now what's really interesting is that on Yuji's side, there's no reaction from witnessing Yuta in Gojo's body. He's just locked into this battle. And so this disproves a lot of theories where many expected Yuji to be angered at Yuta, or go into a fit of rage and possibly demonize him. But it's clear that even before these circumstances came to pass, Itadori chose to accept his circumstances when he decided to walk this path and risk his life and become a cog. They all have to lose something if they're going to win. They all have to sacrifice their humanity if they're going to beat a monster like Sukuna. That's just the way it is. The narrator reveals that Sukuna is now in a vulnerable state, because after using his domain, he's now in a position where it's difficult to manifest his curse technique. Sukuna's been basically going on this autopilot of chaos and destruction, and now he's on a crash course to destination crash out. But just as things are finally starting to look up, just as things are finally starting to get better, Yuta falls down, indicating that Kenjaku's body swap has been halted even before the 5-minute time limit is over. So long story short, he fumbled the bag and you hate to see it. Anyone who's been invested in Yuta stocks, you should probably start selling because this isn't looking good. Yuta pushed it too far, and once the domain broke, his copy burnt out. He comes to the realization that since Rika is no longer haunting his current body, copy isn't his, and Limitless is consuming his cursed energy. Yuta expected that he would still be able to use Kenjaku's abilities after the domain expansion, but it seems like he was totally wrong. He didn't have the right information or ideas behind wagering these risks, and now he's scrambling. At least he will try and deploy a barrier for Yuji and Todo before he's completely finished, but right now he's just bumming around. For the first time since we've seen him be able to use this power, Yuta's copy failed. He gambled and it couldn't match up to what he anticipated of Kenjaku's technique, like, holy hell. This is the opposite of that Disney happy-go-lucky type BS. This is what's terrifying. This is like Danganronpa. Gege is Monokuma, Sukuna is me, and yeah, sure, let's go with that. Now, Todo realizes that Yuta is nearing the extent of his limitations and compliments Sukuna for his ferocity, while also acknowledging that this is probably why he's regarded as the king of curses. And then instead of saying thank you or appreciating Todo's compliments, Sukuna takes this opportunity to just black flash the shit out of him. Like, that's crazy. Todo goes straight to glazing Sukuna, which I mean, like, fair play, this guy is a straight up demon, and he deserves his compliments and everything in between when it's due credit. And then this twisted bastard who's out of curse energy just lands a black flash to essentially restore his depleted levels and bounce back in a better state. Sukuna not only proved why he's the king of curses, but he lives it, he breathes it. He sets the example. And following in Unk's footsteps, Itadori sneaks around Sukuna and catches him off guard. Sukuna tries to defend himself, but Todo is there. He teleports him into Sukuna's blind spot. 10 out of 10 recovery by Todo. Like, what a massive big brain play. You can call it cope, but Todo getting hit like that was all part of Aizen's master plan. Meanwhile, Todo kicks it from Chad to Giga Chad, and starts slapping the Vibra Slap on his head to activate Boogie Woogie. Like, what an absolute champ. Bouncing it off his head is crazy. Like, Todo knows no quit. And don't worry, Yuta's not dead. Let's go, he's still got it in him. He's exuding bundles of curse energy, and therefore he still has enough shards to maintain a floating barrier. So, honestly, respect. He's recovering from that fumble of a century, though he still is on fraud watch. Goddamn, Todo is such a mad lad. These shards are acting like his personal spotlight, and as he declares that until these shards disappear, there's no greater stage that Boogie Woogie can shine and sparkle. He's just magnificent, majestic even, and I think we should all aspire to be someone like Todo. And then we get this absolutely gorgeous spread of Itadori and Todo toying with Sukuna's senses. Like, this is really peak Jump Kaisen. The Todo-Itadori duo is the perfect combination. Their teamwork complements each other harmoniously, each matching and syncing with the other. They consistently overcome the odds, and now they're gonna do it again, which is how we get this crazy gear-shifting moment. Itadori hits Sukuna with this mantle perfectly, and the barrier between Sukuna and Megumi's soul begins to shake. This is the turning point, as Itadori resolves to never back down, never give up, claiming that he will do this as many times until Megumi finally gets back up. Yeah, at this point, Itadori is just JJK Nikkei 30. I think we can all get on board with that. Megumi may have given up on himself and everything else, but Itadori never gave up on him. And this is what it's all building up to. From all the people that Itadori couldn't save or lost along the way, I believe that Fushiguro will be his redemption, his victory. He will save him. Now, Sukuna is really thrown for a loop here, as he realizes that Yuji can selectively choose his targets so his technique can activate. And with the consistent dismantle onslaught, it's becoming increasingly intense for Sukuna. And therefore, he's forced to back away, because if he continues taking these blows, he's actually gonna lose. So he's gotta take extreme measures, by which Sukuna throws up some of his fingers and then consumes them again. Like, who is this person? You wanna know why Sukuna is one of my favorite characters in JJK? It's because of stuff like this. It's like, oh no, Yuji's breaking this soul barrier. But joke's on you, I'll just throw up, then gulp down my fingers again to regain control. You can't beat that, that's just crazy. My man out here trying to reach down his throat for them Binding Vow brand vitamins. His pharmacist must be having a field day with this one. But goddamn, it's so smart, and I love it. This is brilliant. 10 out of 10. You win an Oscar. None of that made sense, but honestly neither did this. But Sukuna isn't the only one boosted off his Binding Vow vitamins, because Yuji got the family pack. According to Sukuna, the binding vow that Yuji uses is one that will ensure that his strikes more effectively tear away at Sukuna's soul from Megumi's body. So finally, someone other than Sukuna is using their reverse Unos correctly, and it's such a shame because I gave each of you 5 and you all blundered it. Gojo, you're dead. Kashimo's a waffle. Hikaruma's case closed, and Maki, I don't know, maybe she's alive or something. But Akari, well, I'll let this one slide because I like you. The point is, the only reason the sorcerers are in contention of defeating Sukuna is because the YUTA Todo duo is hard carrying this battle, like Tamir does for me when we play Fortnite.
Never back down, never what?
And once again, Todo comes in with a massive brain play, like he's easily the MVP of this chapter. Todo slaps his Vibra Slap, but there's no swap. And before Sukuna gets up on his ego complex, Todo fakes him out by swapping Hana Kurisu directly above Sukuna, ready to go blast him with Jacob's ladder. Looks like Todo also made a binding vow, and in doing so, he's able to extend the range of Boogie Woogie. It's pretty funny, cause doesn't it seem like out of nowhere, everyone had the same doctor's appointment, the same pharmacist, cause they all got prescribed more binding vows than I've ever seen in JJK. But back to business, this Hana Kurisu play, it was never intended to happen. This is a last resort of last resorts, one giant Hail Mary. Prior to Shinjuku, Yuta made an arrangement with Hana/Angel to finish off Sukuna with Jacob's ladder, an all or nothing gamble in an attempt to split Sukuna and Megumi's soul. And it's like, oh boy, another gamble, cause that really worked off the last time, right Yuta? That definitely paid off. Look, just leave all the gambling to the walking casino Akari, and let's just go with that. But Yuta reveals something extremely significant, which is why I said that at the beginning, even though he's sold, he could easily redeem himself with this final play. Yuta's opponents tend to think about his stock of copies, who he copied, and they just leave the original user out of the equation entirely. Their minds come to the conclusion that he's stolen the technique rather than just borrowing it, and that's how he pulls the rug from under them, for example with that clutch play from Inumaki. But the true strength of his copy technique is the ability to have 2 of the same cards in his hand, and the 2 cards shown in this instance are the Jokers. And so we get that impactful chapter ending, with Hana blasting Angel's maximum output Jacob's ladder technique, the trump card at the 11th hour, the game changer, the plot shifter, and who knows what else. We don't really know what's gonna happen, but there's so many things that could happen that I need to make a separate video going through each of the possibilities. There's a break next week, so it's back to the lobotomy. But don't worry guys, I'll keep you updated with the content. And with that, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a good one, mad lads.